Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs Show. It's the Week 3 NFL show. Everybody just wants to say hi. Bunch of people in the barn today.
What's up?
We're in the barn.
We're in the barn. What's going on, boys?
So the first game on the slate today, the Baltimore Ravens are -3 going to New England. Patriots, the over-under is 43.5. So Ravens, obviously heartbreaking loss last week to the Dolphins. Tua had 470 yards. You know, Postman's pretty wet about that. And
Oh, we're so fucking wet.
and the
Don't even get me started.
Patriots
Pause.
off a
And
win.
what's crazy is there's nothing to be wet about.
Tua could be the only quarterback in history to throw for 470 and 6 touchdowns and still get hate.
Literally.
Only quarterback in history.
Did you watch the
No one
game?
else said Usain Bolt.
We're not picking a Dolphins game. Tommy,
Yeah,
give
go,
us the
go.
data. Give us the data.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and start with my pick for this game first. So obviously the Patriots beat the Steelers last week, but regardless of that, the Patriots have no weapons on offense. Nelson Aguilar had the best play in the last 5 years of his career against Keller Witherspoon. That was just unlucky play for Witherspoon, but Patriots have zero weapons on offense. The Ravens secondary has been their problem. Obviously last week with Tua having 450 yards, 470 yards. So I just think that the lack of weapons on the Patriots offense will probably make it so that the Ravens defense won't look as bad. And I think the Ravens will win this game. I think they'll cover the 3. I'm not going to take the total because the Ravens defense is problematic. But I don't think the Patriots offense is going to score that many points. And so I'm taking the Ravens here.
So I am a Patriots fan. There's no bias here. I think the Ravens lost a terrible game last week, and they blew my lock of the week in the fourth quarter. But I think they're going to drop back-to-back games. You do make a point with the Patriots having no weapons, but if you look at the Ravens offense, obviously besides their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, they have no weapons to help either, really. Like, they have Dunnerby, who I think has a concussion, and Bateman's like a young, fast receiver, but nothing special. I mean, they do have Mark Andrews, but we have like a couple, we have like Hunter Henry. I think it's really up to a coaching match. We have the Patriots have a good defense. The Ravens have an okay defense. Two like lackluster offenses. So I think it comes down to coaching. And unless Bill Belichick steps down this week, I believe the Patriots are out coaching every team that they play. They might not win, but they're going to be out coached. Belichick's going to find a way to contain Lamar. And once you contain Lamar, he does not have much help to back him up. And I think the Patriots defense is better than the Ravens. So I'm going to take the Patriots here.
Lamar's uncontainable. Like, no matter what you throw at him, he's so athletic. He has an arm. He showed that last week. He's so good just everywhere on the field. Yeah, he could use a little more weapons or whatever. I was shocked that even one person picked the Patriots in this game. I'm obviously picking the Ravens -3. There's a bad taste in their mouth after last week. And I think that came down to more of the defense just being wildly underprepared for, like I said before, the Postman, to basically Usain Bolts that they have as wide receivers, who can literally just run wherever they want and get the ball and just not get tired. The Patriots don't have that. The Patriots don't have shit. Mac Jones isn't good. He never was. Yeah, you're right. Belichick is probably the best coach in the NFL, and that's why Mac Jones gets a lot of love, because he wins games because of his coach. Enough bashing on the Patriots. I don't even hate them, really. But yeah, the offense for the Ravens is good. I don't think the Patriots are that good. I think the Ravens are going to win this game. It could be a blowout, too.
I'm going to take the Ravens point spread here. It's pretty much guaranteed that, they're going to put up points. But again, the question mark is the defense. So if we look back to last week and we look at that fourth quarter, taking it as it is, I would say that's probably the worst schemed fourth quarter I have ever seen from a secondary. I'm talking about blitzing all linebackers, setting safeties in the cover 2, blowing the middle of the field wide open, going base cover 2, having guys not covering people on go routes. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life. it was actually ridiculous how wide open Tyreek Hill was on that last like it was like on the second to last touchdown, it was actually like blowing my mind. But as far as the game against the Patriots, Lamar seems really hungry. I don't know if it's a contract thing. I don't know if he just really wants to just win and get like kind of like the thing about him that's like, oh, he doesn't win the big games. He doesn't, win in the playoffs. And I think he really wants to get that like off his chest this year. So he seems really determined, even with the lack of weapons. So I'm going to take the Ravens here.
I'm going to start out by talking about what Coby said. He first started by saying the Ravens have no weapons and then proceeded to list like 4 weapons that the Ravens have. And besides that, Lamar is Lamar, like exactly what Sam said. He's uncontainable, even in the Dolphins game. And Dolphins have a objectively like top 10 defense. He was still Lamar. Like he's still insane in getting outside the pocket and making plays and throwing it to Mark Andrews, which is the second best tight end in the NFL. I'm taking the Ravens spread, and I do hate the Patriots, but that's not biased.
Yeah, Ravens spread for me too. Everyone's pretty much said what I have to say. I was gonna take the over on this, but I'm gonna take that back from my card. And just stick with Ravens spread.
Yeah, some very, very valid points made there by all the boys. I like the Ravens in this one, particularly Lamar Jackson. He's got a point to prove, contract, all that stuff is just in his head, and you can see it. He became the first quarterback to throw for 75 yards, a touchdown, and rush for 75-yard touchdown, or over that yardage. So he's breaking records at left, right, and center. He's doing it. We talked about his wide receivers there. Bateman gets a 75-yard receiving touchdown, and Duvernay returns the ball for 103 yards. I mean, this offense, yeah, the names might not like jump off the page when you look at them. Yeah, you have Mark Andrews after that, it gets a bit shy, but they're still finding a way to put points up on the board. And look, they don't even have a run game right now. It's Kenyon Drake in the backfield and they're doing bits. So if this Ravens team can string a few wins together while their run game isn't even there, then I really like them in the distance here, and I think they could be a potential dark horse. Look, the Ravens defense, we spoke about it. The secondary was not good in that last game, especially in the fourth quarter. Like Nickson said, you gave up 28 points to the Dolphins in the fourth quarter. I mean, talk about just throwing the game out the window. All your hard work just gone, like Tyreek and Waddle just burn you. This time, I think the Ravens are going to look at that defense and go, we're not going to let that happen again. And the Patriots' weapons, I don't think are quite there. Nelson Aguilar, like Tommy said, best play of his career. Like, he's one of these players who's going to stand out, maybe make a play here or there, but he's not that guy. And I don't see that true wide receiver one with this Patriots team. So I like the under 43.5, and I like the Ravens -3.
The sign is 3, and I'm picking Ravens -3.
Fair enough.
All right, so the Rams are -3.5 going to Arizona against the Cardinals. 49.5 is the total.
I'll go first since I went last on last one. I like the Rams -3.5. Cardinals got lucky that the Raiders sort of blew up like, the Browns and the Ravens did this weekend. That overtime touchdown was kind of skeptical. I thought he dropped the ball before he crossed the line, but that's just me. I still think the Rams are a better team here. Cardinals, again, they've been struggling. They got lucky and got away with one last week. I'm taking the Rams -3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to follow that, Tony. I like the Rams in this one, too. I think there was a bit of that Super Bowl hangover in that first game we saw against the Bills. They played a really good Bills team there, and they just didn't seem up to it. Still, like, thinking they were top dog, and you're top dog until you're knocked off. And I think they kind of, last week, they were like, okay, we got to get our stuff together. Like, we got to beat the Falcons. And I think that was a confidence game for them. Getting Cooper Kupp involved is the key to this success in this Rams offense. It's what they need to do. They need to feed him the ball, and they did exactly that. He had 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. They're looking better. I like Matthew Stafford, his elbow, it's still kind of questionable. They don't look like the same Rams team that we saw a year ago, but I still like them to win this one. And lads, if I had said to you at the start of the season that Greg Dortch would be leading this Arizona Cardinals team in receiving yards and Darrell Williams would be leading this team in rushing yards for the Cardinals, you wouldn't believe me. So the offensive weapons for the Cardinals are really thin right now. Yes, that Kyler Murray comeback in the fourth quarter against the Raiders was spectacular. He's the best athlete on the pitch, but he's the best athlete on the pitch. He can't throw to himself. So in this one, I like the Rams. I like the Rams -3.5, and I like the under because of those offensive issues with the Cardinals.
You were saying that the key to the Rams offense is getting Cooper Kupp involved.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, it's the exact opposite of that. It's getting their other weapons involved. Because we saw week 1 where Matt Stafford decided to not throw the ball to anybody but Cooper Kupp. And look how that turned out for them. It was an absolute disaster. Matt Stafford threw 3 picks. They lost the game. They had no mojo going offensively unless Cooper Kupp could magically get himself wide open. And that is why I am taking Allen Robinson to get a touchdown in this game because last week we saw them get some offense going and moving when they started using their other weapons. And Allen Robinson, put in the right situation, getting targets, can make plays. He's proven that he's talented enough. I'm also taking the Cardinals here, mainly because I don't like what I've seen from the Rams so far. And the Cardinals, I feel like Kyler Murray kind of got a little mojo back last week. They could be a little frisky. And Cliff Kingsbury loves winning games in week 1 through 7. They're like the best team in the league in week 1 through 7 every year, and they fall off a cliff after that. But the good thing is we're in week 3. So I think the Cardinals, I'll take those points, 3.5. I think it could be a 3-point game. And then I'm also going to take the over. I think both these offenses are pretty, can be high powered, not as much the Cardinals, but if they get something going like they did last week, I think this could turn to a little shootout and the Cardinals win.
I like a lot of what Scott was saying. I'm going to take the Rams here because the Cardinals, yes, they are coming off a big win, but the fact that they were down too much to a Raiders team who has a terrible defense and had a very lackluster performer from their stars. I'm pretty sure Devontae Adams had a down game. Carr was missing on a lot of his throws. So the fact that they were even down that much to the Raiders, they're going to be no match for the Rams, who have an actual defense. If they get themselves in that hole, they are not digging themselves out of that hole. Like Scott said, the weapons are thin. Hopkins is still in suspension. They have Marquise Brown, but he's not really a wide receiver one. I do think Matt Stafford needs to get his other weapons involved. He cannot just throw to Cooper Kupp the whole game, but I think he can pull this out. Darrell Henderson's looking really good. And they can get everyone involved, then they're just going to be an even better offense. I know Stafford's dealing with the elbow injury, but he's still making it work, and I think they're going to win, and I think it's going to hit the over.
So, Sam, I think great minds think alike. We're going to have the same picks, but they're going to be for different reasons.
Okay.
I have admittingly be going through a terrible slump when it comes to my picks and my gambling. I have been basically shooting like 15%, and for those reasons and those reasons alone, I'm going to go against my gut. And my gut was to pick the Rams minus 3.5. So I'm going to go against that and pick the Cardinals plus 3.5. And I also thought about the under, and I'm going to pick the over.
That was almost, I mean, you said it was different, but it was kind of the same thing. I was the same way as that.
Wait, are you taking Allen Robinson touchdown as well? Let's see, put that on his card.
What?
If you're taking everything the same, he took Allen Robinson touchdown.
I'm not taking Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I like the under in this game. First of all, I like the Rams. They're going to be coming back, since their week 1 blunder. But I'm also going to take the under this game. Why that is, you ask? They played last year twice, and they both hit the over. I think the over under this game is set at 50.5, and they surpassed that margin both times when they played last year. However, I don't know. This game feels like an under game to me. That's the only thing I gotta say. I'm in a weird spot in my betting career. Or my sports predictions career. I'm second on the show, but my DraftKings sportsbook account would say otherwise. So I'm doing some reflection here. I'm taking the under in this game.
Yeah, similar to Martin, I'm third on the show, and my FanDuel sportsbook account is pretty depleted at the moment. Over 2 through 2 weeks of football, but that just means I'm due. I am going to take the over here just because the Cardinals are 2-6, or the over is 4-2 in the last 6 meetings between these teams. So these teams like to score points, and Scott said that the Cardinals offense isn't as good as it once was, which is true. They've lost some weapons, but I think that they'll still hit the over in this game, and I think that the Rams especially are going to score a lot of points. So I'm taking the over and the Rams here.
I'm going to go over first. I'm going to start with the over because I think both defenses aren't really that good. We have 2 quarterbacks that have proven they could score a lot and at a high clip. Kyler had a great game last week. He showed a lot of guts, which I haven't really seen from him. It was kind of refreshing to see him be emotional out there and really try to put his all into the game. So that was something I was pretty surprised to see. I haven't been really impressed with the Rams so far this year. You had the blowout loss to the Bills. They barely beat the Falcons at home, which is something that kind of concerns me. I don't like the fact that Stafford seems to be force-feeding Cooper Kupp. When you have other receivers such as Allen Robinson and Higbee, like Coby said, that are really talented and can really help you win, it doesn't seem right that he's just throwing to one guy. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals here. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals, and I'm gonna take the over.
It sounded like you convinced yourself to take the Cardinals, like as you were making a pick.
I understand what the lads are saying about the Cooper Cup and not passing the ball to him, but he's also the offensive player of the year. You're going to want to give him the ball, and I know he's going to be, he's going to be double manned in some situations, and sometimes Stafford's going to pass him the ball when he shouldn't. But let's not lie to ourselves, lads. Cooper Cup is a large part as to why that Rams team won the Super Bowl. So I think, yes, they need to get the ball more to Allen Robinson, especially when he's wide open, like in week 1 clips that we saw. It was like Stafford went out of his way to not throw it to him. But I do think the Cooper Cup should still be a huge part of this offense. And for Matt Stafford just to start throwing to others receivers that he doesn't have that relationship with and try and force it, I don't think is the key. Also, I think the funny thing with that Cardinals and Raiders games was, were the Raiders defense awful or was Kyler really amazing? I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but Kyler had about 15-20 seconds in the pocket. Like, I could go off and pour a pint of Guinness, let it settle, and then top it back up, enjoy the pint in the time that Kyler had in that pocket. That was outrageous. So I think the Raiders need a long hard look at themselves, but kudos to Kyler in that amazing play.
Also, you kind of also have to give it context because Hunter Renfrow fumbled 2 plays in a row. Like, he fumbled once, and one of the guys on their team got it back, and then he fumbled the next play. It was like he was giving them the game. So,
well, can we all agree that Josh McDaniels being hired as the head coach was not a good idea?
Well, I mean, like, they're 0-2, but they've had 2 good. Like, the Cardinals are good, the Chargers are good, and like you've seen how bad the Patriots' offense is without Josh McDaniels. So it's not like he's a doofus. But,
no, he's a great coordinator, but like the last time he was a head coach, it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Almost like Nathaniel Hackett.
Who we will move on to now, I guess.
Game 3 here.
He did win a playoff game, Sam, though.
Who?
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, but otherwise than that, he like had a terrible record. Started 6-0, but then like, I mean, you win a playoff game, who cares?
Bears might care, would they?
All right, so
Yeah.
game 3 on the slate here. San Francisco 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo now as the quarterback are -1.5. And this is a very surprising line. One of the juiciest lines of the week. Traveling to Denver, playing the Broncos, Russ. I honestly am shocked that they were favoring this game. Like, they are really, like, and after Trey Lance got hurt and Jimmy was their quarterback, their Super Bowl odds went up, which is pretty crazy that a backup made their Super Bowl odds went up. I know that we might have some fans of the teams in this group, so I won't go first. So if anybody wants to go first.
Man, I'm gonna just kick it off. Broncos country, Broncos nation. Woo woo. We got a top 3, top 4 NFL core healthy. You know what I'm saying? You guys can disagree, say what you want. Russ hasn't played a good game yet. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't know what the hell the first call to kick the field goal. We're paying him all this money, 4th and 5. But anyways, them being plus size, I mean, you gotta take him. Garoppolo is just an average quarterback. I mean, he'll get the job done. I mean, he's really relying on the defense. He's not really going to do anything spectacular, but this is the Broncos. I mean, this is going to be a vital key game for us to really see if we're going to be actually good this year. Or, it's just kind of like a bust year. But I think we're going to come out swinging. So, I mean, even though I'm a fan, being as non-biased as possible, take the Broncos on this one.
I happen to completely disagree. Like he said, they did play 2 bad games against the Texans and the Geno Smith-led Seahawks. That is not a good sign. The 49ers have an actual defense, and that's not going to go well for them if they couldn't beat the other teams. I don't like what I've seen out of Russ. Russ is normally a first-half quarterback, and in the second half of the season, he falls off. Like, I think it was last year, first half of the season, he was like MVP front runner, and then second half of the season, they didn't even end up making the playoffs. So if he's not playing in the first half of the season, I don't know how this whole season's going to go. I think that Jimmy has been in the 49ers system for a couple of years. I mean, they have Debo, Ayuk's just getting better. I think he fits better in that offense than Lance does just because he knows it better. I like how the 49ers have been looking so far this year, and I just don't think the Broncos can get it done with their coach and without trusting Russ.
I have an interesting take here. I saw a video of when Trey Lance was still healthy and they were going out to practice, and it was Jimmy G. They were asking like one of those dumbass questions as they go on the field. And to say that Jimmy G looked like kind of disenthused, for lack of a better term, that he still had to be playing NFL football. Let me finish. I think Jimmy G was super complacent with him being on a 1-year contract in San Francisco, backing up this guy, Trey Lance, and going in garbage time or when needed. I think now that he's in that, star role again, I would be wrong in thinking that he's going to change the narrative and really lead the Niners to a better Super Bowl run than they had last year. With that being said, this was my favorite game of the card. Thank you, Tommy, for including it best for last. I'm going Broncos plus 1.5. Not a big Russ fan. Sorry, D-Lo. Definitely not a big Russ fan. I think he's highly overrated, especially after that corny Tom Brady copycat video he did after that very lackluster win. Like you won 16-9. You can't make it. You can't make that highlight video. With that being said, this game screams under, but I'm not taking it. Broncos plus 1.5. Book it.
Going off of my previous points of fading myself, part of the reason I have done so poorly is because I don't bet with what Vegas wants. I've been betting what Vegas wants me to bet. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Niners. Vegas wants you to take the Broncos plus 1.5. It looks so amazing. It's why are they even underdogs? But that's what they want you to think. Niners minus 1.5. Under.
I'm loving this tinfoil hat stuff from Postman here. But I don't know what to pick. Both of these teams have had like a really weird 2 games. The Niners went and got beaten by my boys, future Super Bowl winners, the Bears. The Broncos went out, laid an egg against Seattle, and then went and just played a super lackluster game against the Texans. And now the line's 1.5, which is basically a pick 'em. So I'm taking the Niners because I love Jimmy G. Jimmy G is probably my second or third favorite quarterback, behind Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. But yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen here. If Nathaniel Hackett's going to dial something up, are they going to go for it on 4th and 15? Are they going to punt from the opponent's 30-yard line? Is Jimmy G going to go throw 4 picks? This game, like, it's a toss-up. You can flick a coin for this one. But yeah, I'm just going with my gut here, and that's Niners minus 1.5.
I know, I backed that one for real, Sam. I think the exact same what you said there. I saw this game in the car and I went, oh no, I don't know which way to go with this.
Yeah.
For me personally, when I can't decide, I go, okay, who's the home team? And I might use that. But the Broncos looked awful last week at home against the Texans. I mean, it was lastminute.com and they get a touchdown. Russell Wilson has not been cooking, and that's been the whole thing. Let Russ cook. We'll give you weapons. We'll give you Cortland Sutton. We'll give you Jerry Jeudy, and it's still not been there. So the Trey Lance injury has completely flipped the script in the 49ers camp, as expected. Jimmy Garoppolo knows how to get wins in this team. He led them to a Super Bowl. Let's not forget that. The team is comfortable with Jimmy G under center. You can see the guys, you can see the camaraderie when Jimmy is under center. They just seem like a more comfortable team. And this is a team when Trey Lance is under center that they just run with them. They rush him. And I know that's 2 different quarterbacks, but with the weapons out there like Debo, like Ayuk, they need to be throwing the ball just as much as you can't get Debo doing all these like running routes. You need him catching the ball as well. And that relationship is already in there with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I like the 49ers in this one. And as I said, I just haven't been impressed with what I've seen from the Broncos so far, literally squeezing past the Texans. And it's not been a seamless transition from the Seahawks to the Broncos for Russell Wilson. I do think this is an incredibly important game for the Broncos season, purely because of how competitive the AFC West is. If you lose a couple of games in the trot, especially against some of your opponents, you're in a really, really dark situation because the Chiefs are flying high, but I'll get to them later. But for this game in particular, I'm going to go 49ers minus 1.5, and I like the under. I know Martin said you look at this game, you think under, and that's exactly where my head went. Both solid defenses, offenses haven't really been doing much. So I like the under 44.5.
Under. That's all this game is. I'm not even going to touch the line. Too close to call for me. It's just the under. Both of the offenses look super questionable week 1 and 2. Both of the defenses have a lot of heavy hitters on there. I'm just going to go under. I'm not even going to touch it. Too close to call for me. So that's all I'm doing.
I'm going to go out and surprise some people. The Eagles are my Super Bowl pick, but if I had a second pick, the 49ers with Jimmy G are my second pick.
Wow.
I think they are so much better with him than Trey Lance. And you can see it on the field too. Like, I'm not going to disrespect Trey Lance, but the dude's at the strip club after getting their asses whooped week 1 against the Bears, and the Bears are not good. Sorry, Sam. But
They're really good.
they just looked horrible. No excuses, the weather and all that. They couldn't get shit going. The 49ers are a much better team with Jimmy G. I think it's honestly disrespectful that they're minus 1.5. I don't think Denver's very good. I'm very adamant against Russell Wilson. I was a big hater on him last year, and even though he's my fantasy quarterback, sadly, I just don't like him at all. I don't think he fits that offense. I think their head coach is a numbnut. I'm very high on the 49ers -1.5.
I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but there was that clip after Jimmy Garoppolo's rushing touchdown. Like the whole entire offense like circled him, celebrated him, patting him on the helmet. It seems like the team is almost like happier that he's back. They're more comfortable. I feel like it's almost going to make them push harder. Like they want to win for Jimmy. I feel like they're more comfortable with him than Trey Lance. So I feel like that's almost like a re-spark in the offense and the whole team. And I really like what I saw from the team with Jimmy Garoppolo.
So I'll supply some data here. The Broncos are 0-6 in converting red zone attempts into touchdowns this year. They have not converted a red zone attempt into a touchdown this year. That's pretty crazy. I'm taking the 49ers here. I agree with Tony that Jimmy is a much better quarterback than Trey Lance at this moment for the team. I think that they are essentially the same team as last year now that they have Jimmy back. So I think that they're going to be good this year. Also, Jerry Jeudy and Surtain are questionable for the Broncos, so that's like a pretty big deal. And as everybody has kind of alluded to, Hackett is a dipshit, and he probably is going to get fired after this year. So I think that it's Niners here, -1.5. It's time for the locks of the week here. So everybody, if anybody has a lock that they feel really, really strongly about and they want to go first.
I'll give one for Scott. I know he's going to hate me, but I am taking the New York Football Giants -1. This is another one. I think the Giants are getting disrespected a little bit. They're a much better team than they were last year. Cowboys got Cooper Rush at quarterback. I mean, they won last week, but
Can you say that again? Can you say it again?
Cooper Rush. They won.
What was that? We won.
They won. I'll give them that. I was rooting for the Cowboys last week. I hate the Bengals, but yeah, I mean, the Cowboys defense is very good, but it's asking a lot to win multiple games on solely defense alone, and I just like the Giants -1.5.
I'm gonna go because I feel like this is the easiest lock of the week, and I want to make sure I get it in first. And I understand it's the NFL, but how the Indianapolis Chiefs line is only 5.5 is pretty fucking insane. Indianapolis is fucking awful. They suck. They're actually bad. Like Matt Ryan is just so washed. JT is still JT, but like they're just bad. And the Chiefs look as good as ever. They don't miss Tyreek Hill, even though Tyreek Hill's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I'm going lock of the week is Chiefs -5.5. And I haven't hit one yet, but I think this one will hit.
No, I'm not. Don't pass it to me. Everybody who has Chiefs their lock is allowed to go now. I know.
Yeah, I got. Oh, you can go.
Yeah,
first.
go. No, go ahead. Everyone unmuted. I know.
I might step in here if that's okay, Coby. I think you're the same as me.
Yeah,
But I love what everything you just said, Postman. Completely agree. I saw this line and I went, how can we not go near this? Like, this is the easiest pick of the week, in my personal opinion. And I'm the same as you, Postman. I haven't hit on my lock just yet, but I'm very confident in this one. Personally, I think this is one of the best offenses in the league against one of the worst. And I'm sorry, Martin, that pains me to say, especially when you have one of the best running backs in football. It's like having a Bugatti in your team and in your driveway and not using it. That's what it's like with Jonathan Taylor at the moment. The Colts aren't just doing anything. You get shut out against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Come on, like, what's going on here? The Chiefs are flying without Tyreek Hill. They're spreading the ball around. Patrick Mahomes said in an interview that he's sorry to fancy football owners who have Chiefs wide receivers because he doesn't even know who's going to get the targets. And that's how it's been. And it's a guessing game for defenses to know where the ball is going to end up. I'm expecting a big game from Juju in one of these games. I think it's going to hit. This could be the one. But Matt Ryan throws 4 interceptions against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get shut out against the Jags. And the Chiefs have had since Friday to prepare for this game. They played Thursday night football. Let's not forget that. So there's been a lot of preparation on the Chiefs end in this, and I really, really like them in this one. Chiefs -5.5. Let's roll.
Yeah, I had this game too. I had a down week last week, so I saw this pick and I was like, I got to make up for it. The Colts have lost 2 very winnable games. They might be the first team ever to miss Carson Wentz, and that says a lot. Matt Ryan's just not getting the job done. I don't know if he doesn't have chemistry with the receivers. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if he doesn't agree with Frank Reich, but something is not working in this offense. Jonathan Taylor is not getting the touches he deserves. Pittman is playing all right, but like he's really not spreading the ball around. It's been a disaster. Indianapolis has been an absolute disaster, offensively, defensively. They lost 2 winnable games. I don't see them pulling out this game in any way. I mean, the Chiefs' defense is not great, but like I think it's good enough to stop the Colts. I think the Benjamin High School defense might be good enough to stop the Colts at this point. Patrick Mahomes is playing amazing football. It doesn't matter who's out there at wide receiver, Juju, Tyreek, me. Like, he's getting the ball around to everybody. He's been playing great. The offense is great as a whole. And I just think this is an easy pick.
Just to give some credit to my boy, they did tie the week 1. They didn't lose, but still shit.
I don't have the numbers on me at the moment, but we all know over the past 2 years, even 3 years, the Chiefs don't cover spread, especially when it's a little bit of a bigger number, which 5.5 isn't that big. But the Colts are in complete desperation mode right now. They're 0-2. They need to win this game, or they're 0-1-1. But I think that, especially against the Chiefs, like, this is the type of game where they like surprise the world and win this type of game. And the Chiefs can lose this game and they'll be all right. So I think the Colts are the more hungry team here. I'm taking the Panthers +3 against the Saints. I've taken the Panthers 2 out of 3 weeks this year, and I don't really know why. I just am purely backing Baker here. They're 0-2. This is a division game. The Saints haven't looked that great. They've been not that impressive. And I just think that they need to win this game, so I'm banking on them winning. +3 is a good number, too. It could lose by 2 or 1, and I still win. So I think this is a good block here. And if you've been trailing me, you've been making money. So I think that you should listen, and I'm taking the Panthers +3 here.
I have the Chargers -6.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars because the Jacksonville Jaguars are not good. The Colts are not good. The Chargers are good. Brandon Staley is going to go for it on every 4th down if things go perfect, which I hope they do. The Chargers, that's just 7 seems like a lot, but in reality, it's a touchdown. Okay, it's 1 touchdown. And if you're saying Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne are going to go, and Christian Kirk are going to go put up more touchdowns than Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and so on, Austin Eckler, you're out of your mind. The Chiefs or the Chargers are going to win this game by 6.5. And I just want to circle back real quick to that Postman did a complete 180 on himself by saying that he's not taking the Broncos because the line's too easy, whatever, Vegas is playing a trap on you. Why would you take the Chiefs then? That seems like the biggest lock in football right now is, the Chiefs might 5.5 against a Colts team who's looked absolute dog shit. I think the Colts might go out and win that game. I'm not taking that as my lock. But I might sprinkle a little change on the Colts money line this week because that's just the kind of game that could happen in. And you're saying the Broncos are the favorite. That line's too easy. The Chiefs line is way too easy. But
there's a reason why I have no money in my FanDuel, Sam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you followed my picks along with Tommy, you've been making a lot of money. So
if we're talking line movement, though, the line did open up at -7. Now it's -5.5. So it looks like people are betting on the Colts. That's besides the point. All the Colts slander, I have no response to it. It's been a piss poor season so far, but hopefully we'll turn it around. I'm a hopeful guy. Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans, Tennessee Titans. Remember the Titans, Denzel Washington Huskies. What color is the Huskies fur? Black and white. Black and white. Black and silver. Silver and black. The Raiders. It's all coming full circle. Raiders, Titans, over 44.5. Book it.
Martin,
That's
it's 3 a.m. here, brother. I can't keep up with that segue there. I didn't know where we were going with that, man.
It was the signs. The signs told me. Raiders, Titans, over. Lock of the week. Signs.
I'm hoping to get back to my winning ways. I had a very rough week 2 after a great week 1. So I'm taking the oddball pick here. So I'm going to go Jets, cover the spread +4.5. I could easily see it being a 3-point game against the Bengals. Bengals have not looked very good this year at all. I love what's happening with the Jets defense. Joe Flacco is balling out this year. Besides the rough game he had against the Rays, but he played pretty good last week. And I just don't like what I'm seeing out of Joe Burrow. I don't like what I'm seeing out of that offense. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Jets +4.5.
That's the first time somebody's taken the Jets this year as their lock.
Yes, Sirski.
Might be the other time, but
pretty convincing last week.
Sean took the Jets a couple times last year. They're always gonna have big totals. So
The Jets beat the Bengals with Mike White last year.
yeah.
What was Jake's lock? Why was everyone up in arms about that?
It was the Commanders against the Eagles, even though the Eagles beat his team by 100 points.
Yeah, he's just mad. He's just mad about that.
Commanders, what, +6?
6.5. Isn't it 6.5?
It's not awful. It's not terrible. Like
I think that's pretty bad. I mean, Wentz is playing
I low-key thought about it.
now.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but their defense is hot garbage, and
Raiders versus who?
The Eagles.
Jahan Dotson does look great though. How about
He does.
that?
Good.
how about Cooper Rush, lads? Come on.
That's really good.
I'm actually betting on the Cowboys because I think they're going to win that game.
The Eagles are so up and down.
The New York Giants aren't going. That's just not happening.
Also, I don't know if this is going to get put in the show or not. I just kind of want to say it for Postman. The Dolphins allow the most yards per pass attempt in the NFL. Did you know that?
I don't care. We're 2-0.
Did the Dolphins
I think
play?
we have the best quarterback in the 2020 draft class.
Oh, we'll see what the Dolphins do this week against the Bills. So that's all I got to say.
We will.
I also was low-key going to pick the Bills minus 5.5 as my lock.
I remember I used to bet against the Colts last year, and then I would lose that bet every time. But then I would go to sleep happy because the Colts won, and I just lost my bet. I don't go to sleep happy anymore because we got shut out by the Jaguars. But you know how tough it is being the only Colts fan in all of your friend groups? I had this group chat to deal with. I had my UVA group chat to deal with. I had my fucking work people texting me, dude. Like, how many Indianapolis Colts fans do you know? Like, literally. Like, you're going to text me. Exactly. So
You should have seen him watching this game. It was the fucking most hilarious thing I've ever
it
seen.
was really bad. They were just showing up on a red zone, and the Colts would be in the red zone, and then Matt Ryan throws a pick, and then literally not even 2.5 minutes later, freaking James Robinson is running it in for a touchdown. How'd that even happen?
Literally 2 weeks in a row of me, like, every other thing in my parlay is looking good, and I'm just like, what the fuck are the Colts doing? Like,
Bro, like, how many people had Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdowns?
Yes, every
I
week,
bet
man.
on
Every
the Colts
week.
last week. I doubled down. I put them in a parlay and
I
took
had
it straight.
so much money on the Colts last week.
Yeah.
Week
Yeah.
1, I had so much money on the
No,
Colts.
me too.
Week,
Week
1,
one,
they
they
sold me.
They fucked the shit out of
And the real worst part about it is that the 2 first games of the season were supposed to be cakewalks because we're playing the 2 bottom tier teams of the AFC South. And then we come out and lay a goose egg against both of them. And now we're getting into the meat of the schedule playing the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah, you guys are bottom tier now.
What's going to happen?
Frank Reich's on the hot seat. That's what's
Oh
happening.
my
man.
God. Everyone on Twitter is calling for his head. I don't know
You
if
gotta
that's
look,
the right
look in the mirror.
move. I don't know.
the Colts are either going to win this game or possibly lose by 30.
Yeah.
There's no one
I
between.
think there's no in between. Fuck.
All right, well, like and subscribe.